So something slightly different for the channel. I'm going to do a guided meditation. If this is something for you, then fantastic. If this isn't for you, then fantastic. But if you are interested in coming on this short journey with me, then I would ask you to accept this invitation to join with me. We know that when two or more join, that creates the invitation for spirit to rush in. So please allow yourself to join with me now and accept that invitation and relax into this experience. Check yourself, check your form, just make sure you're not holding any tension. Make sure you're relaxed enough to be able to forget about the body. Forget about your environment. Listen to these words. If you feel comfortable, say them to yourself in your mind or out loud in between the repetitions that I present. I'm completely safe. I'm completely protected. I'm safe. I'm protected. I am. I am. I am completely safe. I'm completely protected. I'm safe. I'm safe. I am. I am. So why are we traveling through this reduction of the use of words in this short series of phrases? Because we're told that there's no degrees. This is such a helpful tool in Course in Miracles understanding. Very early on in the workbook, told that there's no small upsets. They're all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. In every single instant, there's a choice between love and fear. But it's a pseudo choice, because what's all encompassing can have no opposite. And love is all encompassing. Love is all there is. So to say you're completely safe and completely protected gives the impression that there are degrees. It's a good starting point. We speak to our minds in a way that directs us towards relaxing and accepting and allowing and just looking. So we're safe and we're protected. But of course we're safe and protected because we're surrounded by the love of God. We're sustained by the love of God. God's the mind with which we think. God's the light in which we see. So then we reduce it to I am. One of the amazing things about I am as a statement is the complete lack of directionality to that intention. I am. It's just solid, stable, secure, present. There's nowhere to go when you tell yourself, I am. This is akin to saying, God is. I am. When you sit silently and observe the actions of your mind, you see the way that thought wants to pull you to the left, pull you to the right, backwards, forwards, to the past, to the future, up, down, in, out. And all the time that peripheral activity attempts to pull your attention towards it. There's a quiet center, and that's the real you. It's just there, sitting there, watching, listening now. It's the real bit. It's just so steady, completely unaffected and altered by anything. Wonderful continuation of this incredible peaceful feeling. But if it just is, what does continual mean? If the peace is in you now as a quiet center, which is observing all this peripheral activity and just is, continual doesn't even have any context because it just is. It's your best friend. That silence, it's just like being in the company of your best friend. And after the longest journey, you take your boots off and you take your socks off. Just sit down and relax. And you realize that you're in the company of your greatest friend. That quiet center is your greatest friend. That silence because it's you and it's your shared identity. And that peace is love. Love is God. And your quiet center that rests in God, sustained by the love of God, protected, but weirdly, protected from what? Protected from nothing. There's nothing to be protected from because there's just love. Now, forever. Forever is just now. Lots of nows in a row. There's not actually a row because there's just now. Peace, quiet, center, steady, unaffected, unaltered, the real you, your true identity that you share with everything, all one of it. Familiarize yourself with the silence. You know what I'm talking about. When I refer to the silence, you know what I'm talking about. Is familiarize the right word? Is remember the right word? If you know something, you don't have to remember it or be familiar with it because you know it. It's known. And that's not a concept, is it? It's an isness. It just is. You know the silence. Don't you want to spend time with it? When you think about it, when you think about that silence, it's because you know it. And you know that it's just indescribable. The peace and the love in that silence is just indescribable. And why bother? You wouldn't bother. You'd just be with it, wouldn't you? Just rest in that vibe of being with it. Just go, oh, the silence, without even saying, ah, oh, the silence. You can't say anything in silence. Beautiful place to be. Seems weird that you could ever forget it and do other stuff. Maybe you could find a way to not forget it. Maybe it's just a constant presence of a quiet center, and that puts it in a completely different light. If you hear a sound, it's the quiet center that hears that sound. If you hear a voice, it's the quiet center that hears that voice. If you watch a stream of thoughts unravel, splinter off into multiple avenues, it's the quiet center that is looking. And these thoughts that splinter off into multiple directions, like a herd of horses. Horses that all seem to be running at once, across the plains, up over the hills, over mountains, in all directions, just running and running and running and running and running. It's the quiet center that watches all that, silently observing, unaffected, no desire to change anything. The quiet center's not going to consider jumping into the scenario of all these horses running left, right, and center and try and round them up. The quiet center's not going to do that. It was never changed by any of that. It's never changed by anything. Does the quiet center expect to hear a voice? Does the quiet center wait for the next sound? Does it do anything? It just is. It is. God is. I am. I need do nothing. What do I need to do if I understand that I am? Silence is the language of love. An unspoken language. Communication beyond form. The felt experience of connection. Peace. Contentment. Satisfaction. Fulfillment. So we'll take this peace with us. We can't not take this peace with us because it emanates from the quiet center. That quiet center which is unaffected and unaltered by any of the peripheral activity that appears to be happening in the mind. We can't not take this with us because it's what we are. It's the interference that isn't real. The quiet center is real. We undo our investment in believing in the interference. And watch those clouds dissipate. And every single time the way becomes unclear, just take a breath. Identify with the quiet center. That will guide us back to who we really are.